All right, so you know how everyone's glued to the weather app, like constantly?
Huh? Yeah.
Well, get ready because things are about to get interesting, like really interesting. We're about to do a deep dive into a company, tomorrow.io, and let me tell you, they are really shaking things up when it comes to how we get our weather info.
Yeah, what's so fascinating about these guys is, they're not just like throwing together another weather app. They're actually launching, get this, a whole network of their own satellites.
Okay, hold on. Satellites, like
Ugh.
the massive, crazy, expensive
Well,
ones.
that's the thing. We're talking small satellites, some not much bigger than, like, I don't know, a bread box maybe. But
Yeah.
don't let the size fool ya. They're packing some really impressive tech.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention. So how does a weather company end up working with NASA? I mean, what's the story there?
So NASA has this program. It's called the Commercial Smallsat Data Acquisition Program on Ramp 1. Kind of a mouthful, I know.
Right.
But basically, Tomorrow.io just scored a contract with them, which is a huge GE deal.
Wow, so NASA's literally saying, we see what you're doing and we want in. That's got to be a good sign.
Oh, absolutely. It means NASA's recognizing the potential of these smaller companies, the ones taking a different approach to gathering information from space.
Okay, so break it down for me. What does this program actually do, and what does it mean for tomorrow.io to be a part of it?
Sure. So this program, in a nutshell, it's all about NASA, right? They're realizing that commercial satellite data is incredibly valuable. It's agile, it's cost effective, and they can use it to really beef up their own Earth observation capabilities.
So instead of relying only on those huge, expensive satellites, they're tapping into a network of smaller ones.
Precisely.
That's actually brilliant. It's like crowdsourcing, but for space data.
Exactly. And for tomorrow.io, this is, well, it's a huge validation of their technology. It's a golden ticket to collaborate with NASA. I mean, come on, we're talking about the biggest name in space exploration.
Okay, so I get the NASA part,
Yeah.
but I got to ask, why small satellites? I mean, what's the advantage there?
Well, think of it this way. These smaller satellites, they're like the little guys who can move fast and adapt quickly.
Okay.
They're cheaper and faster to build and launch, which means a company like tomorrow.io can put a whole bunch of them up there. And that means wider coverage and more frequent updates.
So instead of waiting for one giant satellite to slowly make its way around,
You have a whole network constantly monitoring the atmosphere with incredible precision, something traditional satellites just can't match.
so are we talking about like hyperlocal weather forecasts, like down to the street corner? Or even being able to predict those small-scale weather events that usually catch us off guard?
You're getting it. And it's not just about the scale, it's about the kind of data they're gathering. Tomorrow.io is focusing on information that's been notoriously trouble to capture, especially at such a high resolution.
Hmm.
For example, one of the things they're doing that's really groundbreaking is measuring wind.
Okay.
But not just wind speed, right? We're talking about getting a really detailed look at wind profiles throughout the entire atmosphere.
So like wind speed and direction at different altitudes.
Exactly. And that has been a really tough nut to crack for us weather folks.
I can imagine. So it's kind of like having a 3D map of the wind instead of just surface level readings.
Exactly. And that extra dimension of data, it completely changes the game. Let's say you're trying to predict a hurricane, right?
Okay.
Having a precise understanding of the wind patterns at all those different heights means meteorologists can make much more accurate predictions. We're talking about giving people more time to prepare, potentially saving lives.
Wow, that puts it into perspective. It's not just about more data, it's about the right data for making critical decisions.
100%, yeah.
So we've talked a lot about tomorrow.io and this NASA program, but are there other companies out there doing similar things with these small satellites, maybe in other areas?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes this whole field so incredibly exciting right now. There's a real buzz about it. Besides tomorrow.io, you've got companies like Spire Global. They're also using a constellation of these small satellites. But instead of weather, they're focused on the oceans.
Okay, what are they tracking?
Everything. Ship movements, illegal fishing. They can even pick up on those subtle ocean weather patterns that affect global shipping routes. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. I mean, it's mind-blowing to think that these tiny satellites can give us such incredible insights into what's happening on Earth. But stepping back from the tech for a second, what does all of this mean for everyday people? Like, how does it actually impact our lives?
Well, it's easy to geek out on the space part, right? But
Yeah.
it's the real world impact that truly matters.
For sure.
Take tomorrow.io, for instance. Their work has the potential to revolutionize industries. Think aviation, agriculture. Imagine airlines being able to use that real-time wind data to plan the most fuel-efficient flight paths.
Oh, wow.
Or farmers getting hyperlocal forecasts to help them make smarter decisions about when to irrigate their crops or protect them from sudden changes in weather.
Right, it's not just about knowing whether to pack an umbrella anymore. It's about building a safer and more efficient world, especially as our climate changes. I
Absolutely.
mean, you could even use this data to improve how we generate renewable energy, right?
Exactly.
Like more accurate predictions for wind and solar power. And speaking of applications, didn't Tomorrow.io mention something about using their tech in transportation as well?
Oh, yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff there. Think about cities being able to use real-time weather data to manage traffic flow better.
That would be amazing.
Right. Less congestion, quicker emergency response times, and because their data is so localized, they can even help cities predict and mitigate things like flash floods.
Wow. It's like we're finally getting ahead of the curve instead of just reacting to whatever Mother Nature throws at us.
Exactly. And the exciting part is we're still in the early stages. I mean, as more companies like Tomorrow.io jump in, we're going to see some truly mind-blowing innovations, things we haven't even thought of yet.
It really feels like a new era. Like we're on the verge of something big when it comes to understanding and predicting the weather.
Totally.
Earlier you mentioned that Tomorrow.io was just one of 8 companies chosen for this NASA program.
Right.
Were there any others that really stood out to you, maybe doing something totally different with this whole small satellite thing?
There was one that really caught my eye, Muon Space. They're using small satellites, but get this, they're tracking methane emissions.
Whoa, methane, like the greenhouse gas.
The one and only. And they can do it with incredible precision. Like pinpoint the source of a leak from a pipeline or an oil and gas facility.
That's amazing. So we're talking about seeing the invisible
Hmm.
from space. That's next level stuff.
It is, and it just goes to show you this technology has implications far beyond just checking the weather. We're talking about understanding our planet on a whole new level.
It's like you said, it's about connecting what we're doing in space with the challenges we face here on Earth. That's a powerful message.
Absolutely.
It's kind of humbling, right? Even something as simple as checking the weather forecast, it's all connected to this incredible world of technology and exploration.
I love that.
So next time you're wondering if you need that umbrella or planning a weekend getaway, remember those tiny satellites up there in orbit, silently changing the world.
And hey, if you really want to dive deeper into all of this, I highly recommend checking out Tomorrow.io's website. They've got some pretty fascinating stuff on there about how it all works.
We'll be sure to link that in the show notes for everyone to explore.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The future of weather forecasting is looking pretty bright.
I'll take that as a good sign.
Huh.
That's it for us today, folks. Catch you on the next episode where we'll be back to unpack another exciting topic just for you.